Metabolism, who wants like a better functioning, healthier metabolism, one that's moving in the right direction. Nobody wants to be, living out the less than version of themselves. This is a buddy of mine. His name was Dr. Charles Majors. He got diagnosed with cancer and was told he had 2 weeks to live. Okay. So put yourself in that mindset. He had 3 kids at the time and was told he was only going to be given 2 weeks. They said maybe even days. In fact, when he left the hospital, they didn't even know what he had. They called him on his way home and said, "Get back here." And he had 2 tumors the size of a fist in his brain, inoperable, couldn't do radiation. It was pretty much a death sentence. And he had to make a decision, and that decision was, am I going to live or am I going to die? And he decided live, but it was like, okay, what does that mean? How am I going to do that? And conventional methods, if you want the same results that everybody else gets, just do what everybody else does. And if you want different results, do something dramatically different. So he asked, what are the outcomes of this type of cancer? They said, well, about 95 to 98% of people die pretty quickly once diagnosed with it. He goes, okay, so what do the 2% do? And then he went in the opposite direction. So everything that the doctors told him to do, he said, no, thank you. No. If 98% of the people who do that die, nope, no thank you. And this was a message that I got to hear from him 7 years later when he was still alive, helped his boys start a business. The nuts over on the table over there, those snacks, if you guys have walked in and seen Brothers Nuts, that's his boys' company that he helped them start when they were like 6 and 7 years old, 2 boys. And Caleb just got married. I was at Caleb's wedding just recently, and they had another daughter, and their daughter is thinking about going to chiropractic school now. Her dad was a chiropractor. Awesome story. So he lived 7 more years. Did he beat cancer? No, he eventually ended up dying, but he got 7 more years, and that whole 2-week thing was nonsense, but his mindset is what changed everything. And the thing that I want you guys to walk away with when it comes to anything in your health, and we're going to talk about metabolism, but when it comes to anything is mindset. So before any of you guys storm out, you ready? Your health is your fault. Okay? I know this can be offensive if you've never heard that before, or it can be one of the most empowering things you've ever heard. But my buddy Charles taught me that what he taught me completely shattered the modern healthcare narrative, that health is not just good luck. It's not luck at all. In fact, if your health is bad, it didn't happen to you. It happened through a series of inputs that your body has been responding to every single day. And we have to take accountability over that, because our body isn't broken. It's actually being obedient. Okay? Your body follows instructions and it adapts to signals that it's given. And this system we call healthcare survives by convincing you that you're a victim of bad genes, bad aging, bad luck. Bad victims don't take control. Victims comply. Victims consume. But biology doesn't care about excuses. It only responds to inputs. And nowhere is this more obvious than in our own metabolism. Metabolism is not a weight loss buzzword. It's not calories in or calories out. It's not something that you boost with a pill or a shot currently. Metabolism is the sum total of how efficiently your body turns food, oxygen, movement, and recovery into energy, hormones, healing, and clarity. And guess who runs that entire process? You. We do. Your brain, yes, through your choices, but ultimately we do. Your nervous system is the command center. It decides whether your body is in growth mode or survival mode, whether it burns fuel or stores it, whether it builds muscle or it balances hormones, repairs tissue, or shuts everything down for conservation of energy. So when someone says, I can't lose weight, I'm exhausted all the time, my hormones are a mess, my inflammation won't go away, what they're truly saying is my body, my nervous system, my metabolism are stuck in protection mode. Protection mode. So how do we do that? It doesn't happen overnight. This is something that happens through repetition. And chronic stress, poor sleep, inflammatory food, sedentary living, constant stimulation. I think that's the big one nowadays. Even my kids, just constant stimulation, nervous system override. These are real things. And so this tends to slow down and create this metabolism issue, but it's not failure. Weight gain isn't laziness. Fatigue isn't weakness. These are adaptive responses. And here's where most people get stuck. They want to change, unfortunately, without responsibility. That's where the GLP-1s and Ozempic and rewind the clock. Go 10 years ago, you could go whatever the weight loss drug was then, and the Atkins diet and fen and diet pills and all this. And there's always been like a cheap, short way out. But ultimately what ends up happening is you see that the end result of that, there's a scripture in the Bible, it says there's a way that seems right unto a man, but the end of it is, anybody know? Death. There's a way that seems right unto man, but the end of it is death. And so it says, like, it seems right. Like, you want to lose weight, you want to, like, I'll just take this shot, this GLP shot, and that's going to be the key, but the end of it's death. He says, so we chase stimulants, we inject hormones, we suppress symptoms, we override signals, and every time we do that, our nervous system is crying out one thing: we're not safe, we're still guarded. Our choices help create the problem. The good news is different choices can create different outcomes. This is the good part, and this is what I want to really talk through tonight, because the moment that we accept that our body was responding logically to the things that we interjected into the equation, and we realize that we're just simply adapting to the choices we made, then if we make different choices, if we change the algorithm, we will start adapting differently. When we restore our proper nervous system functioning, most of you guys are chiropractic patients. When you reintroduce movement into the spine, into the body, when you calm down stress signals, when sleep deepens, when nutrition stops inflaming, your metabolism doesn't need motivation. It does what it was designed to do. Our health isn't random. Your metabolism isn't broken. Your body isn't betraying you. It's just simply adapting. And if adaptation created this state, then adaptation can reverse it. And that's not bad news. It's the best news you've been given in a long time. And I love that. I love those words. Yeah, I wouldn't have read them to you, except for I couldn't have said them better myself. So we're gonna go through this, and what you guys see here is our metabolism. I really believe, and what you need to know is it's working for you. So what is your metabolism first and foremost? The truth is our metabolism was and is supporting you. What is your metabolism? When I ask people, point to your cardiovascular system, where would everyone point? Your heart. Point to your nervous system, the most common place, your brain. Point to, we could go through this, right? But if I said point to your metabolism, right? We do like nobody knows. It's like a magic, trick that like nobody knows where their metabolism is. Here's what your metabolism is. It's the sum total of all the reactions that have to happen in your body. So it's food coming in, oxygen coming in, it's rest, it's all these things that allow you to then do all the things you need to do. And what we want is we want all the input to measure up with the output, with little excess on either side, okay? If we're taking in too much of anything and we're not expending it, guess what happens? If we're not taking in enough and we're putting out too much on the other side, we actually start to get less healthy, okay? And less healthy doesn't always look skinnier. Less healthy sometimes goes the opposite direction, but in terms of health, our metabolism is all about what are we bringing in and what are we putting out, and are they aligning, okay? And it's not just food, it's oxygen, it's movement, and it gets back to the 5 essentials that we talk about. So I want you guys to think about your metabolism in terms of energy in and out, and then I think that'll soften up the conversation a little bit as we get into why it's broken. Because some of you guys need Some people need to eat more. Some people need to eat less. Some people need to move more. Believe it or not, I've found people that need to move less. Some people need to rest more. Some people need to rest less. It's different for everybody, okay? So your biggest thing, and if I were to challenge you right now and go, I love doing this when we do the nutrition talks. I'll do this with people. I'll go, who thinks nutrition is the most important thing when it comes to your health? I'll give you two choices, okay? Nutrition or exercise. Which one's more important? Nutrition, raise your hand. Okay. Exercise, raise your hand. Which one's more important? All right, here's the real answer. The one you're not doing. So everybody who raised their hand for nutrition, you're probably doing better in nutrition and you need to work on exercise. And everybody who raised their hand on exercise, you're probably doing good in exercise and you need to work on nutrition. Does that make sense? It's just it's that simple. It's that balance. And what's weird about us as humans is we like going in the areas we're good at and we hate going into the areas that we're terrible at. I noticed this with my son. I was teaching him how to study and he kept studying the pages that he already knew pretty well. And we get into other pages and I'm like, why haven't you studied this yet? And have you ever done this before? Yeah. You like keep studying the first few pages and then you don't get that deep and then you have to cram. And the reality is our brain likes being rewarded. It likes knowing it got the right answer. And the same thing happens in our lifestyles, that we like doing the thing that we know is right or good. And we kind of psychologically dopamine reward ourselves for doing that. We hate doing the thing we don't like to do, but that's the path. So the path is, the harder way, and we really need to look into that. So what is metabolism? Not just weight loss, it's energy production, which means converting nutrients into usable fuel. If it's not a nutrient, it's not going to become good fuel. So it didn't say converting food, it's converting nutrients, right? Number two, hormone regulation. When your metabolism is healthy, your cortisol is more balanced, your insulin, your thyroid, all of your sex hormones, they're functioning better. Recovery and repair, we're able to recover from workouts faster, we're able to recover from shoveling snow faster. Anybody shovel a lot? I came in and got adjusted today. I woke up last night, I had this horrible neck ache. I never get one. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? And I'm like, oh, I shoveled snow for like 4 hours yesterday. No wonder my neck's bothering me. Time to go get adjusted this morning and recovered really quick. And then adaptation to stress. So this is the big one. Do you guys know that right now a middle school child is under the stress level that they say back in the early 1920s or 30s would have put somebody into a mental institution? A middle school child today. That's the level of stress. And like as adults, you're under way more stress. Like we kind of laugh at that a little bit, but the schedules we're under in these things. And so we have to manage that. And I'll teach you guys, there's a difference between good stress and bad stress. When people say they want to fix their metabolism, most of the time they're talking about weight, right? But what they don't understand is that all of these things contribute, and weight is just a byproduct or a symptom of somebody whose metabolism isn't functioning right. If you get somebody moving in the direction of health, weight loss is a natural byproduct of healing. Cool? Metabolism's being hijacked. This is what happens when your metabolism's been hijacked. Fatigue and burnout, so you can wake up tired. You feel like you need caffeine to function. You have afternoon crashes, stubborn weight gain. Do you know after age 40, the typical weight gain is 2.5 to 5 pounds annually that you never take off?
That's not good news.
No, that's not good news. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's the average. Our patients, we want to be different, right? We want to be less than. My kids ask me all the time, Dad, why are we weird? And usually that's in conversation with, can we get Chick-fil-A? No, why? Because we don't eat Chick-fil-A. Why don't we eat Chick-fil-A? Because we're weird. Why are we weird? Because the Bible called you a strange and peculiar people. You're called to be different. We're not. We have a rule when it comes to food. We don't eat through a window, and we don't eat from a gas station. We don't eat through a window, and we don't eat from a gas station. Everything else, we'll talk about what's on the menu. We can go to a restaurant and we make better, but you got to set some hard rules. And so for you guys, I would challenge you, like, don't eat through a window. And maybe that for you is like, oh my God. Oh, what do you mean? That's like 60%. Yeah, dude, we don't eat through a window. Just make a hard rule for yourself. That's a challenge one. Stubborn weight gain. Sometimes people will eat less and not lose weight. And that's like, whoa, how does that happen? That tells you your body's in protection mode. And that's what we're trying to get away from. Brain fog, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, racing thoughts, that type of stuff. Anybody feel this? Right? Yeah. Brain fog is a big one when it comes to metabolism. Low libido. You're seeing, all you got to do is Google low libido once and you'll get 90 Instagram and Facebook videos on this, because this is like a huge topic right now. Low sex hormones and low sex drive, and then inflammation and pain. And that's a big thing we see in our office. People come in here and the intake forms used to be pain in my hip, pain in my shoulder, or pain in my neck, pain in my left ankle, or pain. And now people are like taking the human chart, and instead of circling an area, they're like coloring in the body. You know what I mean? And they're like, it's everywhere, it's everything. And this systemic inflammatory response is becoming a real thing. And I'll tell you guys, it's not all your fault, but then once we're done tonight, you'll have a responsibility over this, because I'm going to teach you a couple things that are why that's happening. These don't come from laziness, aging, or lack of willpower. These are our body's urgent signals telling us something's wrong. We need to change something, and we got to get this under control. All right, so our metabolism is adaptive. That's a good word, adaptive. It's adaptive. Adaptive means if it changed for the worse, it can change for the better. It's adaptive, okay? We can change it. It's not fragile. In fact, it's strong. The fact that we're all sitting here and we're not falling apart despite a lot of the stress and things that we've been through, and that your health isn't worse than it is currently, should tell you that your body is always fighting. And inflammation is your body fighting. Like, all this stuff is your body fighting. Even the stubborn weight loss is actually your body fighting. It's hanging on to that weight because it's holding back either toxins that it doesn't want to let go of, or it's trying to protect you in some way. So we got to look at it as adaptive. So when we look at this, we'll break it down, but it's not simply an on-off switch. Instead, we have to like learn how the system works and get it changing. It's always responding. It's continuously monitoring, but it monitors signals. Here's the big ones: food, stress, sleep, and activity. So those are your big four. If you want to write them down: food, stress, sleep, and activity. Food, stress, sleep, and activity. And I would challenge you guys to go into each one of those, and you can give yourself simply a plus minus, or a 1 through 10. 10 being I'm doing it perfect, 1 being terrible. But rate that: food, sleep, stress, activity. We're always adjusting. We're fine-tuning. Based on those 4 things, we're fine-tuning our output. And then your body is taking your input from those 4, and it's working to protect you, to make strategic decisions for later on based on what you've already been doing. So if your metabolism's slowing down, you're storing extra fat or whatever, then your body is saying, based on what your input is telling me, we're going to have to protect ourselves from future disease or inflammation. If your body is letting go of weight and your energy starts to go up, whatever your body is saying, based on what you're giving me through those 4, we're going to start releasing some of this because we trust you to keep protecting us. I know that's, again, remember I read that whole thing about personal responsibility. I wish it was different, but that's what it is. For me too, just so you guys know, for me as well. And I look at pictures of myself when I'm 30 and I'm like, oh boy, we got some work to do. And I'm currently working on it, but I want to share with you guys that like it's a real thing for all of us. So here's the rhythms, okay? We go, I had images in here, they're not in there, I apologize. But this is how this wheel turns. So if you look at this, we start off with predictability, start off with nourishment. So adequate fuel. Adequate fuel means we're eating enough for our activity levels, enough to sustain what we do on a daily basis, but not so much that we're storing excess. excess. We don't want to store. We want enough for our daily. If we're overweight, then we actually want a little bit less than what we need for the day, because we want to be burning some of that other. I'm not talking deep caloric restriction. I'm talking we're eating for fuel. We're not eating for fun. We're not eating for emotions. We're not eating out of habit, but we're fueling our body, okay? Who's the person that goes to the gas station when you're like at a quarter of a tank, you've only been below a quarter of a tank? Who goes to the gas station when you're in the last quarter of the tank? Okay, so the people who are at the very end quarter of the tank, that same mentality a lot of times is what gets us stuck with our metabolism, because we're going, and we're not thinking ahead. It's that same mentality of like, my dad used to say it takes as much to fill up the top half of the tank as the bottom.
You're dancing.
It takes as much gas to fill up the top half of the tank as it does the bottom half of the tank. So the reality is, when we're living our lives, we're functioning, we want to be eating enough to keep full to the top, not excessive. A lot of times people get stuck in a bad metabolic state because they go through this fatigue burnout, and then what do when they get down here? They don't really know where they're at in the tank, and they overdo it in terms of, and then they start making also bad choices when they're down there. It's not a perfect analogy, but mindset wise, it's a very similar mindset. Cool?
Or Snicker bar.
Snicker bars are a bad choice. We can talk about why in a minute. Movement, regular physical activity, and this is the crazy one. This is at every age. I know some of you guys, Casey, how old are you? 74. At 74, you might think, I'm 74. Yeah, you could be 94.
Well, it'll be 100.
There you go. So you got time to go. So you got to move, girl. And the reason we got to move is because movement lubricates our joints. It puts demand on the body. It keeps your bones strong, all this. But metabolically, we as a culture have gotten stuck in this sedentary lifestyle, and we just don't move. So what does movement look like? You guys ready for the bad news? And here's the thing. You can learn to like it. It's 15 minutes a day, up to 30 minutes a day. If you're at 15, your heart rate is up and you're sweating for most of it. At 30 minutes a day, I still want your heart rate up and sweating for at least about 12 to 15 of it. Some people can't get right into it kind of hard with surge or burst training. So you need to warm up, you need to do whatever, you need to get the joints moving, that's fine. But it's 15 to 30 minutes a day, and here's the key, every day. Every day. You can take a Sabbath day rest. In 6 days shall you work, right? 1 you can rest. So people are like 3 days a week, right? Like, no, 6 days a week. You gotta move and sweat. My dad did ceramic tile work. He's like, I move, like 90 boxes of tile a day, and I do this. I'm like, first of all, no, you don't, because I was your helper. I moved all those boxes of tile. You're full of crap. You were picking them up 1 at a time. I was picking them up 12 at a time. So that's not true. And was his job physical? Yes, it was. Is he fit? No, he's not. And he knows it, but his job, it was challenging him. So my question to him would be, if you were stronger, would you feel better when you came home from work, or worse when you came home from work, do you think, if you were stronger? And he's like, better. And he's like, but that would require me putting the work in. Then I'd be sore when I go to work. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works, man. That's how hard work works. The doctors, I'll tell you this, when I hire doctors in and they're not working out, they break down. The ones that are working out, Dr. Matt, he's 50 years old, 51 years old. Dr. Matt works out and weight trains 5 days a week. Dr. Matt, never injured. And is he sore? Absolutely. Does he love bending over the table when his back's tight from working out? No, he doesn't. But he gets 2 or 3 in and he's good to go. We got to train, and we got to be using our bodies in a way where we're physically stressing it every single day. And that can be different. And it should be different, because if we were to go back, are you supposed to be in a weight room lifting big weights or being on a treadmill? Like, no, that's not how life was designed. But you're also not designed to be sitting behind a desk for 40 hours a week. So we got to mix it up. We got to do something. And again, the one that you're most fearful of, that's probably the one you should. There's a quote. You guys ready for this? In the cave, in the depths of the cave that you're most afraid is the treasure that you most desire. And the depths of the cave that you're most afraid to go into is the treasure that you most desire. And that's the challenge I'll give you guys, is we have to go after the thing that challenges you or scares you the most. If you're like, oh, I can't even think about doing a burpee, guess what? This is burpee year. You could be 70 years old. I don't care. You're going to do burpees this year. I can't think about squatting. I can't barbell train. I barbell train next to a 97-year-old woman. You guys can look her up on YouTube. Her name is Mercedes Hershey. She was on Good Morning America. She trains right up the road with me. She's 97 years old, and she deadlifts and squats. I'm not saying every one of you need to deadlift or squat. I'm just saying don't tell yourself you can't.
So when we come into you and say, doc, I've been doing these squats, it's help.
You'll be all right. We'll get you through it. We'll get you through it. Do you want a weak bad back or a strong bad back? That would be my question to you, right? And we're going to work on getting it better, but I ask people that all the time. They're like, should I work out? I'm like, absolutely. Well, what about my back? I have a bad back. I'm like, do you want a weak bad back or do you want a strong bad back?
Either way, you got a bad back.
You got a bad back now. We're going to work on that part, but let's get this thing moving. Rest. So here's a big one. You guys, I don't know where this culture came from, especially when it comes to people who are either retired or when they get older and you don't have the schedule you used to. Staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning on Facebook and all this stuff's nonsense. Cut it out. You're like, I have to tell my teenage kids that. I shouldn't have to tell my 79-year-old mother-in-law that. Go to bed at a reasonable hour, get sleep. When's a reasonable hour? Before 10 p.m. Get to bed before 10. There you go. I love it. Your most important hours are between 10 and 2. 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. You get more circadian rhythms in between those hours than any other part of the night. For every hour you miss, your quality of sleep goes down by respectively about 25%. Those are the most important 4 hours of the night, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So get in bed before that, you're going to get a lot better sleep. People who are like metabolism, all this stuff, a lot of times when I monitor what's going on in their sleep, they're up way too late. They got a blue light in front of their face. They're on their phone. They're doing whatever till God knows when. And sometimes they're only getting in 5-6 hours a night. Sleep is critical. So sleep is a huge part of that. And then regulation. So stress management, nervous system balance, chiropractic plays a huge role in that. The other things that play a huge role in that are, this is the difference between, write these two words down, D-I-S-S-T-R-E-S-S, distress versus E-U-S-T-R-E-S-S, distress versus eustress. It is impossible to decrease all of the distress in your life. Would you guys agree with that? Some things are just stressful, like your job or whatever. So there's two components to this. Number one, you can't decrease all the distress in your life. Distress means stress that has a negative net output on the body, okay? There are things called eustressors. Can anybody name something right now that you do that challenges you, but you know you're better for it? There you go. That's a good one. It's a great one. Studying language, reading, prayer, meditation. Okay? It can be anything. Working out. It can be anything. Something that has a positive net gain. And here's the crazy part. You can have two people do the same thing and it can be a distress to one person and a eustress to the other person. And that's based on their perception of the activity. Someone's fifth kid, when mom's already feeling overwhelmed and dad's at work and he travels all the time, whatever, that fifth kid might feel like a distress. Kid's crying, wants to eat, right? Take that little infant and that same cry. A mom who's been trying to have kids and had her fourth miscarriage, when she hears that cry, do you think it's a distress or a eustress to her? She loves that. She's longing for that, right? You get a kid who's dyslexic and he's struggling to read and he can't read or whatever, versus you got the bookworm over here who's just eating books up. One of them's a distress, one of them's a eustress. So for you, you got to find what is a eustress to you. And here's the thing is that you can't diminish distress entirely. You can avoid some of it, but what you can do is combat distress with eustress. How do you do it? One of my favorite is get up and do it first thing in the morning. Whether it's reading, whether it's working out, whatever it is for you. whatever that thing is that you enjoy doing, that puts you in that psychological mindset that tells your body, I'm good, I'm safe, I'm ready to go. Do it first thing in the morning. Guess what a lot of people do first thing in the morning? They hit snooze 3 times, then they grab their phone and they look at all this toxic crap, and then they go to the toilet and they look at more toxic crap. Am I right or am I wrong? Right? And then they get in their car and they turn on more toxic crap, right? And it just keeps going. So even music, like, are you listening to things on your drive to work that are positive to your mindset? Are you like my dad? You listen to, we're recording right now, so I should be careful. Like, I remember like Rush Limbaugh back in the day. I'm like, geez, I can't listen to this guy. The world's ending every day back in the day. And this is 80s, right? And the news and all this stuff. And so I detest it. So in my car, we listen to like Forrest Frank, worship music. We'll listen to a book on tape. We'll learn things. In the car, I ask kids questions. I get them all excited and fired up for the day. What'd you do this weekend? What'd you guys learn? Did you learn anything? Did you go do anything fun? Whatever, that's getting their minds prepared in a positive way for the day. And you can see the shift in their emotions. And it's the same way for you guys. And if you think that this sounds crazy in terms of metabolism, this is part of what tells your body. If I've adjusted you guys and you've ever had one of those come to Jesus adjustments with me where you're like, I just saw the face of God during that adjustment. Anybody ever had one of those? Typically it involves the harness, right? It's like, whoa, man, all of a sudden you're like, whoa. What's the first thing I say? Take 2 deep breaths and tell your body you're okay. Because that's a nervous system thing. Tell your body it's okay. Couple deep breaths, your body's like, oh, and it stops freaking out, right? And so now if I didn't tell you that, and it's like, and you're like, oh, then you go to get up and you're like, oh, everything's spasming. It's a totally different experience. And so the same thing, how you start the day, you're gonna win with that. I promise you guys that. And then the last one's predictability. So your body likes predictability. Predictability creates not comfort in terms of, but it creates a situation where your body feels safe. And so if it's predictable, hey, we get up, we read, then we work out, and then we do this. And again, if you only have an hour in your morning, get up 15, 20 minutes earlier, which means go to bed, 30 minutes earlier, and then create the time, but get up, do 30 burpees, jump in the shower, pull out a book for 5 minutes, your Bible, have your cup of coffee, have a little ritual. It doesn't have to be complicated, but that predictability, when you start doing it, your body starts going, I'm safe. I'm good, I'm safe. And your metabolism, believe it or not, is so much more up here. You start letting it go. Start letting it go. It's a mental thing. Because there are people, how many of you guys have put in the work, put in the exercise, tried to cut calories, done all this stuff, and it doesn't let go? Because a lot of it's up here. We got to let it go spiritually and mentally, and then we got to keep doing the habits and be predictable. So this complete paradigm really represents this deprivation mindset. You guys see how it goes in a circle this way? So if we do it wrong here, and it's like boom, 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 and they all stack and add on to each other, we can get that whole cycle going in the other direction. Here's modern life. Here's the big issue, okay? When it comes to eating, it's that you guys, myself, everyone are subjected to foods that didn't exist 50 years ago. In fact, if you jump on a plane and head out of this country, they don't exist elsewhere, only in the US. And I hate to tell that to you, but that just tells you got to be super cautious here. Ketchup here has like 37 ingredients. Ketchup in the UK has like 7 ingredients. I'm not joking. Like, you look at any given food. I had a couple, they came over here from the UK and they gained 30 pounds each, and they go, we're not eating any different. And I said, I know, it's just all the crap. It's all the crap in our food. So number 1, buy organic. Number 2, avoid added sugars. So look at the label. Look at how much sugar per serving in it. Avoid also the ultra processed food, which is heavily the oils. The oils are a big one you want to avoid. So that's your hydrogenated oils, your canola oil, your sunflower oil, all this stuff. You want to avoid it all. Well, I can't find chips without sunflower oil. Yeah, chips largely aren't good for you. I mean, so that number 1. But number 2, yeah, they're hard to find. which should tell you something about that particular food. The hustle and stress culture, we gotta figure out a way. Again, you can't combat distress with more distress. So figure out what your stressors are. And I always say do them first. Do them first, because these happen after 9 a.m. So figure out a way to do something first in the morning to get that. This one, shut it off an hour before bed. No screens, no TV, no phones for 1 solid hour before you're sleeping. Do not disturb mode, click. Easy. TV, no TV before an hour before bed. They've done studies on this, how it changes HRV, it changes blood pressure, it changes all these things, the stress responders, but TV an hour before. But Dr. Ryan, that's how I relax. No, that's what you do to be comfortable before bed that keeps you up for an extra hour after you wanted to fall asleep. I promise you. I had a huge habit of this. I was a Law and Order fan. I used to like turn it on and watch in bed or whatever. So it was funny. My wife would go, just put your phone down. And I'd put my phone down. I'm like, but I'm awake. I can't sleep. It was funny. I'd put my phone down 5 minutes later. And she kept pointing it out to me. I'm like, all right. So I want to do it. It's not, I can't fall asleep. It's, I won't allow myself to, because I want to stay up that other hour or whatever. And since I was a kid, I fought it. And I think some people are wired more this way, but this is a huge one. The light part of it is huge. So I have a protective screen on my phone. If you guys look at this, like it blocks blue light. So even when I am using it during the day, in our house, we shut off all the overhead lighting in our house at night at 9 p.m. And the only lights in our house, if you drove by my house, are these salt lamps glowing. And so the only way you could see around my house is we have red glowing light from the floor, not from the ceiling. And it totally changes up the dynamic. Any little trick you can to tell your body we're going into rest mode. 1 hour before you actually want to sleep. Outdoor time every day. This is huge. Getting oxygen, getting sunlight, circadian rhythms, getting ourselves exposed to the elements. I would even challenge you, get around trees in the summer, take off your shoes, get on grass, actually get in touch with nature a little bit. I'm going to sound like a hippie, but it's true. That you want to get grounded. You want to be around, what was the old phrase? Tree hugger, right? Hippies were tree huggers. Go hug a tree. Hug a tree, get in nature, go for a walk. If you're going to go for a walk, try to find some trees to walk around, walk barefoot on grass. Again, I wouldn't recommend it in the winter, but in the summer, get out there and get exposed to nature, because nature, it's amazing how healing it is. And then lastly, minimal daily movement. Number one, bring your wobble cushion to work. You guys all have a wobble cushion? Bring it to work. I don't care if you work at a desk. I don't care if you work on a tractor. You can pull it out when you're parking that tractor, wobble for 20 minutes in that tractor, 10 minutes in that tractor, wobble before and after you eat your lunch, bring your wobble cushion with you. But then on top of that, exercising, ideally 15 to 30 minutes a day, getting movement in. Our body wants to know, hey, we're trying to do some stuff here. You get adapted to your daily work. All right, why diets and shortcuts fail. Most diets restrict calories, which signals your body that it's in a famine state, right? So when you go less calories, your body goes no food. So what does it do? We're gonna hang on to it. It's simple. Then you can go into starvation and you will lose some, but guess where you lose it from first? Not fat, you lose it from muscle, because your body wants to hang on to the fat, because the fat's actually calorically gonna save your life, and the muscle it can waste. So that's crazy. This triggers a metabolic shutdown. Appetite suppression overrides certain signals in our body. So when we're on medications or extreme protocols, GLP-1s, do you guys know where GLP-1s came from? So it's a peptide. Anybody know what a peptide is? Okay, didn't think so. Peptides help to break down certain processes in the body. So they're basically like, they're assistants, essentially. Okay, and these peptides help to create reactions that happen in the body. This particular peptide damages the digestive system, and it doesn't cause you to not store calories. It causes you to not even digest them. And it does so by causing your digestive system to essentially not function and it can create micro amounts of paralysis in your digestive system, so you just pass food through without absorbing it. Where they isolated it from was a lizard called a Gila monster, and the Gila monster's venom, when it bites its victim, the venom goes into the body and paralyzes the stomach of its prey, and then the prey can't digest food and it slowly dies, and then the Gila monster eats it after it tracks it down. And they took that peptide and said, oh, you can use it to paralyze a stomach. If we paralyze the stomach of a human, they don't absorb as much blood sugar. Oh, we can use this as a diabetes protocol. Now we have to actually patent this and do all this work with it. And then they don't use the actual peptide from a Gila monster because I don't think it's legal to put Gila monster venom into people's bodies. So they isolated this peptide, but then what they don't talk about, because they say it's natural. It's natural, yeah, it naturally came from a Gila monster. What they don't tell you is that they've synthetically figured out how to manipulate this and create it. And that whole process is a very pharmaceutical enriched process. And so when it comes to health, that's not the pathway. A synthetic version of a peptide coming from a lizard's venom, that's not the road to health. And people are losing weight. You're reading all kinds of crazy stuff. Have you guys seen cancer's going up, digestive problems are going up? There's really crazy stuff. People are losing fats in weird areas. Have you seen people with the Ozempic face? Have you guys seen what I'm talking about? Ozempic face. So they're saying their forehead, the bones around their forehead, they look sunken in. They're losing fat in areas that people don't lose fat naturally. When you see someone who's lost a lot of body fat recently and you look at their face, you're like, wow, you look thinner. The first thing you see is their face, and it looks symmetrical and it looks healthy. These people, it's in weird areas. They're losing fat. It sinks in here, it sinks in these areas. You can look at them and go, that's weird weight loss. And again, not being critical of the person, no judgment, but that's not healthy. There's some other ones. If you search Ozempic and search everything below the belt, you'll read some really weird articles there too, that people are losing mass, both male and female, in areas, and things are looking weird in sexual reproductive areas. The weight loss is really weird and it's not healthy. So we want to stay away from that. Weight loss and healing. Losing weight can be a sign of healing. It can be. Having too much weight on is a sign that our body is in a stressed state, and it can be stressed by our emotions. It can be stressed by our food. It can be stressed by our activity levels. It can be stressed by all this. So weight loss is a healthy sign of a healthy body, getting healthier, but not always. You can lose weight in an unhealthy way. All I'm telling you guys is the focus should be on getting healthy, not losing weight. And when you're getting healthy and you're losing weight, we'll celebrate that. I don't like celebrating just losing weight. I like celebrating gaining muscle mass. If you get a scale, the scale you should get, don't get a scale that just has one number on it. There's scales now that you can get that you stand on them, you grab a little thing. I think Hume, Hume, makes one. And you can grab this thing and it gives biometric feedback through your body. It'll tell you body fat percentage, muscle percentage, body water content percentage, biological age. So I'm 44, it could tell me I'm 64, or it could tell me I'm 34 biologically, and that's based on all the signals that it's putting through and reading based on my tissue. Those are metrics you want to track. Whether you weigh 10 pounds or 20 pounds or 40 pounds more than you want to, if you get your biological age down from 10 years older to your actual age, or maybe in 5 years less, guess what's going to happen to the weight? So you don't even have to focus on the weight. Focus on biological age, focus on water content, focus on muscle mass. Those are the big things, is focusing on the right things. Guess what? When you focus on weight, especially women, when you start lifting weights, which is the fastest way to lose body fat, guess what happens first? Your weight, does it go up or down? Up. And when it goes up, now you feel what? Better or worse? Worse. And worse creates more or less stress? More. And more stress creates more cortisol or less cortisol? More cortisol causes you to hold on to more weight or lose more weight. You right? Do you see how this goes? So you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. And it's creating this whole pathway that psychologically leads you to like, oh, this can't be good. And the reality is for most women who are overweight and especially over on their body fat, if you gained 10 pounds exclusively of muscle, you're gonna start burning calories like crazy in the next couple months. So your first goal should be to, sounds crazy, put on 10 pounds of muscle. And you're gonna start burning calories and losing weight like crazy. And unfortunately, the recipe is the same for guys. You wanna put on 10 pounds of muscle, and guys are like, yeah, like they love that. It's the same recipe. Why do guys lose weight faster? Because they have 20% more muscle mass on average. 20% more, so they're already starting with more. I know we hate it, ladies, you hate it, but you also love it because it's there because we were supposed to go out and kill people and fight lions and do other stuff. So there's a reason for it, okay? Let's get through this. Winning the morning. So I think we hit this pretty hard, but mindset first. Number one, wake up, do something right away in the first few minutes. I would challenge you guys, put an app on your phone, whether it's reading a book, whether it's reading your Bible, whether it's doing a meditation. You like first thing, alarm going off. Some of you guys, it's actually the temptation's too large to not look at Facebook. Take your phone and put it in the bathroom, nowhere near your bed, so you don't have the option. Keep a book right there. Get a regular alarm clock. How many of you guys use your phone as your alarm clock? Lots of people, right? Get a regular alarm clock. Stop waking up to the phone because the phone, number one, you don't want it near your head. Number two, it's too tempting to grab it in the night. It's too tempting to grab it in the morning. Get a regular alarm clock. My wife and I, we made this rule a few years ago. No phones in the bedroom. Kids, no phones in the bedroom. We all put them on the counter at night and we go to bed. And I'm telling you, that alone could change a lot. You like, what the hell does that have to do with metabolism? You'll be blown away. You'll get better sleep. You'll be less stressed. You'll unlock your metabolism. Number two, body second. Mind first, body second. So read something, journal, do something, read your Bible. I don't even care if it's listening to praise, worship music. Do something that gets your mind right. And then right away, move your body. This is even before you fuel, before you eat. My wife's a big, like, I don't like to work out if I feel like I'm depleted. I'm like, we're not that depleted in the morning. Like, a calorie deficit in the morning is actually a really good thing to work out on. If you need something, you know, eat a banana, get a little something in, and then work out, or ideally some protein. And then lastly, fuel. Now, here's the crazy thing is when you work out first thing in the morning, you're more likely that meal is going to be better or worse typically. You're gonna make better choices because you're fueling. So fuel has to be protein rich. So this is gonna blow you guys away. When we get into protein metabolism, it stabilizes blood sugar, it builds muscle tissue, regulates hormones, and it increases, this word satiety means that you feel content, that you don't feel like you need to eat like crazy. If you do that right away, how much? You're gonna aim, this is crazy, 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal. You're eating like a chicken breast and a half. You're eating like 4 eggs. People are like, I can't eat that much. Well, not in the current rhythm. But if you worked out and then you showered and then you ate, you'd be blown away. The goal for most people is getting in about 100 plus grams of protein a day at virtually any age. Take your body weight. You want to eat about 1 gram per body weight of protein every day. If you want to get your metabolism going, you want to be a protein eater. Now, I will challenge you guys with this. You don't want to eat an animal that ate things that you shouldn't be eating. Would you guys do well on 100 pounds or like 100 pounds of donuts and cereal grains and whatever every week? No, you don't want to eat a cow that ate that. What should a cow be eating? Grass, alfalfa, sprouts, this, that. You can eat a cow that eats that, super healthy. People are like, animal meat's bad. No, it's not. Not if it's eating the right things. Animal meat creates more heart disease. No, it doesn't. The China study, the book that they did on that, they were only studying animals that were eating, they were commercially raised in confined lots. They were eating cereal grains. They were eating stuff left over from Miller Brewing Company, Doritos, Frito-Lay. That's what your typical cow eats. So if you go to Kroger and you're just buying animal meat, That's what it eats. So you want to be eating pasture raised. Best thing is find a farm, find a butcher, find a farm, that uses pasture raised meat. So you have friends that kill deer or, slaughter cows, go that direction. If you don't like eating lots of animal meat, get used to eating lots of eggs. That's the #1 best source of protein in the world. An egg has all the essential amino acids, the only complete protein source we know of on the face of the planet that has all essential amino acids in it. So eat lots of eggs. Eat the yolks, for crying out loud, just so you guys know. Cholesterol is not a real thing. It's your cholesterol ratios that are a real thing. So your cholesterol could be 200, 300, 600, 700, I don't care, as long as your ratios are good. Your doctors never talk about that, but your ratios are the real thing. So your LDL to HDL, your LDL to total cholesterol, that's what matters. That tells us whether you're inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. And that's what we want to see, is that you're anti-inflammatory. So don't worry about your cholesterol levels, worry about your ratios. But animal meat and eggs are the big one. Now, vegetables, that's your primary carbohydrate. And you can get by on eating protein and do really well just on protein, because that animal ate so many frickin' pounds of grass, if you're eating grass fed, that you're getting B vitamins, A vitamins, you're getting all these vitamins through the animal meat, believe it or not, that you could probably not eat a vegetable and get all the vitamins that you need pretty much, as long as it's pasture raised meat. Now, pastured animals, pasture raised, sorry. I'm talking quick and I'm from Michigan, so you gotta forgive me those. Eating with daylight, what does that mean? It means you're designed to sleep when it's dark and eat when it's light. So sleep when it's dark and eat when it's light. Like, don't eat after dark, that's the biggest thing. When you wake up in the morning, it's still dark out, do your prayer, do your meditation, read your book, go do whatever, work out, and then by the time you're done, sun's probably coming up, time to eat. Stop eating when the sun goes down. Like, as long as you stay in that window, you're probably gonna do pretty good. You get people who are like, oh, I fast till 2 p.m. or whatever. Yeah, but they were also eating till 2 a.m. So you gotta take that into consideration. Like, people are like, I'm intermittent fasting, I only eat between these windows, I don't eat till 11. I talked to a guy recently, he's like, I don't eat till 2. I'm like, well, when's your last meal? He's like, well, I like to snack in at it. I'm probably still eating at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, well, that's the problem. It's not the intermittent fasting, it's the cycles. So getting back into cycles. This is a huge one. Huge, huge, huge. Sleep and hydration. If every one of you guys changed your sleep and hydration, you'd be blown away how your bodies would start responding before even adding in all the other ones. Sleep 8 hours a night and drink half your body weight in ounces every day. If you weigh 200 pounds, that's 100 ounces of water a day. If you drink coffee or tea, you got to add in for every cup. So you drink 12 ounces of coffee, you got to add back in that 12 ounces plus about half, because it's a diuretic. So you want to be getting in minimum half your body weight in ounces of water every day.
What about herbal teas?
Big, huge herbal teas are good. Anything caffeinated is not. Anything caffeinated is going to pull water out of your body. So if you're like a 4 cup of coffee a day guy or gal, and it's 8 ounces each one, and that's 32 ounces, that is pulling probably 40 to 45 ounces of water out of your body every day. And so if you're 200 pounds and you're supposed to drink 100 and you're pulling 45 out, that means you got to drink like 145 to replace it. It's a lot of water. So you got to chill out on the coffee and the caffeine, drink more water. Adding minerals to your water. So we use that bag back there called Morning Routine. I take a big liter, I pour a packet of that in, and I fill it up with water, and I drink that. And when I wake up in the morning, I can slam one of those before I get in the shower. Full disclosure, I pee in the shower, so I just get it all done. I get it all done in one fell swoop. I drink it heavily. People are like, wouldn't you be peeing all day? I'm like, no, I actually pee in the shower. And then I actually drink one at work, and then I put one by my bedside at night, and I usually drink probably half of it. I'll wake up, I'll slug a little bit, and then when I wake up in the morning, I'll actually finish off whatever's left in there. So I'm drinking 2 full 40 ounces a day. That's 80. I only have to get in about another 20 ounces in the day. It's actually not hard. Go ahead. Yeah.
How do you get your body to absorb the water? You know how like
Minerals.
minerals?
Yep. Minerals. Yeah. If it's going in and going out, minerals, and give it 30 days. Minerals and give it 30 days. And also, if you're dehydrated, putting demand on, so working out, drives it into the tissue more, but minerals. So the easiest way to do minerals, pink Himalayan sea salt, you can put it right in. It doesn't have to taste like salt water, but you want it right on the edge. So you got to figure out, I think it's about 1/4 of a teaspoon per liter, roughly speaking. It should taste soft, but not like ocean. Make sense? Okay, so yeah, you want, or you can go with like packets like that. Be careful, that one's really clean. There's 1 or 2 other ones that are out there that are pretty clean, but there's a lot of other ones that have artificial sweeteners, maltodextrin. So we chose that one. That one is lemon juice, pink Himalayan salt, apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of stevia. That one actually tastes awesome. And it's really good for a hangover too.
Diet trick.
Pink salt diet trick?
Yeah.
Yeah, pink. So when we talk about pink salt diet trick or this, they're like male libido, the salt trick, losing weight, the salt trick, hormones, the salt, like, yeah, salt and water are critical for part of your metabolism. Sleep, I could be like hormones, the sleep trick, libido, the sleep trick. Like if people just got more sleep, all these are, so we're giving you the 5 major components of that. Hormones reset at night. That's why sleep is so important, because all of your hormones recalibrate during your sleep cycles. Fat loss actually happens during your sleep. That's when your body goes to repair. So if you're working out, when guys are trying to train for big events, guys and gals, and they're not sleeping well, they don't put on the muscle mass or burn the body fat they're trying to burn. Sleep is when all the repair happens. So you tear things down in the gym, but you repair them in your sleep. And so sleep is really critical. If you're not getting sleep, it's really hard to get your metabolism going right. Late nights equals a lot of resistance. Every hour of sleep lost increases insulin resistance, hunger hormones, and cortisol levels. You don't recover in the gym through food, you recover in bed. Sleep is where your metabolism really recalibrates. So again, I can't hit that one hard enough. I told you guys, water with minerals and sleep, if you just change those 2, you'd be blown away. And then on top of that, I would say your morning, how you start the day is how you're gonna win. So starting off with less phone, more intentional eustress, and you haven't even worked out yet. And those are already 3 things you can be doing to unlock your metabolism. So what's our goal? Creating freedom, not burnout. So we want steady energy, no burnout in the afternoon, improved mood, less anxiety, better stress, resilience. How many of you guys knew if you were better hydrated, if your blood sugar was better managed through eating more protein in the morning and you were drinking enough water, that you would feel better when you started the day? More rest, more water and minerals, better fuel source, you're gonna feel a hell of a lot better. It's not rocket science. So that's what it is. Fat loss starts to happen, inflammation goes down, and then it's a cycle where you actually start sleeping better. So it starts with trying to sleep better, and it ends with you actually do start sleeping better. The number 1 killer to sleep too that I notice outside of that, and I can tell you this from personal experience, alcohol. Alcohol is a big one. So, you know, if you guys are consuming alcohol, just look at your content, do an exercise, try to cut it down by half and watch how your sleep changes. Alcohol can be a big one. Sometimes I'm talking to people, they're like, nope, that's not the issue, that's fine. So what does the morning protocol look like? You wake up, and we're not talking about lots of time. We're talking about 5 to 10 minutes of prayer, Bible, or reading, journaling in the morning. Get up, 5 to 10 minutes of prayer. Early morning, working out. Like I said, 15 to 30 minutes. So some people, it's snooze, 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 get up, rush to work, whatever. But that's because they went to bed 2 hours later than they should. So if you get to bed, you know, an hour or 2 earlier, you get up, a little more energized. First couple days, it's more challenging, but we're only talking about 35 to 40 minutes. Everyone can find that 35 to 40 minutes. This can be life-changing. Nutritional protocol, focus on protein. Every meal you should be looking at going, how much protein can I get into this meal? That should be the goal. Try to stop eating after sundown. Make sure you're getting in the water intake. Evening, I even think if you're shutting off your phone an hour before bedtime, great time to journal again. Write down some of the things you're thinking. Empty them out. Anybody ever go to bed? My mind's just racing. I can't. Write it down. Write it down and empty it out. Anybody have a spouse that talks before you go to bed? And you're like, will you just shut up? I'm trying to sleep. I'm that guy. I'll just like empty on my wife. My wife's laying there like, I was good. No, I'm not. So journaling, my wife's like, will you journal? Shut up and journal. 8 hours of sleep, try to be in bed by 10. Dark and cool is the goal. No screens an hour before bed. Remember, consistency beats intensity. You guys are here. The goal is to understand it. Trying to figure out support through it. So creating a system, even asking your partner like, hey, can we shut off the lights an hour before bed? If I have my phone in my hand, smack it out across the room. Whatever that looks like, but creating some sort of support around it. And then it will lead to this changing, I promise. Layering habits, this is a big thing. So pick one this week, pick one thing, just do it this week. Commit it with your spouse. Say, hey, we're gonna get to bed before whatever, or we're gonna drink half our body 8 ounces of water a day, or whatever it is. Pick one and do it for a week. And then next week go, hey, we're gonna add in this one. It's called layering. And when you layer, it becomes easier because your brain likes the psychology of wins. Trust the process, give your body time to respond. Notice that any change takes about 30 days, anything. So do it, plan on doing it for at least 30 days. And it's gonna be life-changing for you guys, so cool? Everybody feel like they got a good handle? Notice I didn't say, work out for 4 hours and eat 800 calories a day. Like, that's not it. Most of it's psychological, most of it's rest, most of it's our stress levels, most of it's our body. You look at some people, now listen, there are skinny people who aren't healthy, who can eat anything they want. They're also stressed out, and I want to tell you, when I see their paperwork, their thyroids are fried, their hair's falling out, their libidos are crashed, their lives are miserable too. So if you're on the other side of the spectrum, don't feel bad. Like, people on the other side, just because they look skinny doesn't mean they're happy or healthy either. The goal is somewhere in the middle. There is, like, we don't all need to have abs. The goal isn't that we're all like buff and, but if you look at pictures from the 1970s of what a beach looked like, it was less of this and less of this, and it was more of the middle. And that's really what our goal is less stressed out people who are eating better, sleeping well, and not giving in to the paradigm of today. And then lastly, for God's sake, shut off the frickin' news, okay? Don't watch it ever again. Don't watch the news, okay? And if you are like, what? Don't watch the news ever. Greenland, this, that, who cares? Here's what matters right here. This matters. The people you're around, the people you have contact with, your family matters, your other family. There are people who know more about what's going on with Greenland and are pissed off at every family member that they have. Like, that's jacked up. So love the people around you, love your neighbors, and don't watch the news. Cool? Let's pray real quick. Father, we're grateful. We ask for a blessing over everybody in this room. We ask that you help us to just unlock our metabolisms, not like in a secretive way, but like unlock the understanding, unlock the practices, unlock the strongholds, and the bad beliefs, things that we've told ourselves, the lies. Take that and take it from us. It's not from you. We don't accept it. We give it back. We ask you to take it and take that burden and shoulder it for us, because that's why you gave your son. And we ask that you help us unlock our health in this next year, and that we just see amazing things unfold. We know that we are created in your image, and as King David said, we're fearfully and wonderfully made, and we praise you for that. Amen.